Alright, what is up, everybody? I don't think we have too many people in here right now, but we're just about to get started. Of course, if you are in here, just a reminder, this isn't a true watch-along because I can't show actual footage of the game, but we do our best around here, and this is what it looks like. So welcome in. It looks like commentators are starting to get going. Showing Cade Klubnik right now and his turnover issue from last season. I want to thank everyone for joining if you are here. If not, and you're watching this in the future, I appreciate it. Bulldogs and Tigers at the Benz. They're showing the QB matchup right now, Carson Beck and Cade Klubnik, and then of course we get an ad, so that's fun immediately off the bat. But of course I'm a Dogs fan, so we'll be rooting for the Dogs mostly in this chat. But if you guys want to talk about anything, as you can see over here, past my finger even more, we have the chat up, so you'll be featured in the live stream and everything, and we can ask questions and talk to each other. But it should be a fun little stream here. And then, of course, we have the scores from around the league. Make sure to keep that updated. Looks like Illinois State and Iowa just kicked off, as Illinois State starting with the ball. They'll see if they can score on that tough Iowa defense. The spread in that game is only like 22, so really low. They're not expecting Iowa to win by a ton. I mean, not really low, but you would expect it, at least I would, to be a little bit higher. But welcome in. We're waiting to get through the ads. Again, I always try and do this as much as possible at the start of the stream. This is not a true watch-along because I can't show footage. Otherwise, you know, that's kind of illegal. And I'm not trying to do anything like that, but this is something you can have on while you're also watching the game and have a discussion with a Dogs fan if you're also a Dogs fan, or if you want an opposing viewpoint, you're a Tigers fan, then we can talk about that as well. But if you're watching and you're in the chat, feel free to put something in and we can start a discussion. Otherwise, we're just going to wait for the starting kickoff of this one, as I will probably get into my official score prediction now. Might as well. No time like the present. I think Georgia wins this one. Obviously, Georgia fan yet again, I'll mention. But I think Georgia wins this by a convincing score. This to me has vibes of Oregon, Georgia at the start of that season, of course. That was the first game. Georgia won huge. I have Georgia 49-14 over the Tigers. Not much kicking. We can always say, we can say 52-14, 52-17, something like that. 35-point victory for the Dogs. I know that's really out there, but for a game that spread is 11, I'm tripling it, but that's what I think will happen here. Alright, I'm going to just check that the audio sounds good real quick, so I'll be back in 1 second. Alright, so the audio did not sound that great, so I've switched to a different mic, and hopefully now the audio will sound better, so we'll see. Alright, this one sounds much, much better, so we'll stick with this one. And it looks like the kickoff teams are out there. Clemson will be receiving the kick, and we are up and away. Ooh, all right. It'll go through the end zone for a touchback to start the game. And the Georgia and Clemson seasons have officially begun. Oops, didn't mean to do that. As around the league, looks like West Virginia and Penn State have kicked off. Cade Klubnik taking the field with the rest of the Clemson offense. So it will be just a short while before we see Branson Robinson and the Georgia backfield lacking without Trevor Etienne. 4 receivers, 3 out to Klubnik's right on the far side. He'll dump off into the running back in the flat, and he just misses it. 2-yard dump off that he put way too much power on, and already so second down. By the way, on the scoreboard, that first means first quarter. If you guys want that to be the down, just let me know. I can change it to down. That actually, we'll make it the down. Here, Cade Klubnik, 5-yard curl, completes it, fighting for more yardage. It'll be about a 7-yard gain on second down. Penalty flag comes in. We'll see what the penalty is. That's Dan Jackson in the slot. That is a big man. I didn't realize just how large of a man that is. I think we're going to keep this the quarter. Illegal motion. We'll see if it was on Dan Jackson. I'm not too sure. But there you go. Georgia gets a stop on first down, which was honestly purely Cade Klubnik's fault. And then they get a 5-yard penalty to help them out after what would have been a 7-yard completion. So already a good start from Georgia. And honestly, it's just self-inflicted issues from Clemson. And that's kind of what they needed to avoid. Here, Klubnik drops back, 3-step drop. Dan Jackson had it in his hands and then dropped it. So yet another mistake on Clemson's side. That one just hit him right in the chest, and he tried to turn upfield and dropped it. Wow. Not a good start from Clemson at all. Georgia, not their usual defensive stoutness where, you know, they just blanket in coverage and the pass rush gets in and everything's working towards them. Right now it's just Clemson being bums. Here the pass rush gets in. Cade Klubnik escapes. Penalty flag for holding. And he gets drilled into the ground. Is that Michael Williams on the back end? I don't think so. Damon Wilson. Whew. Michael Williams. What am I talking about? Offside on Georgia. So we'll redo third down, and mistake after mistake, the first one on Georgia's side. Yeah, that's why he got in so easily. He was way offside. Cade Klubnik just got absolutely thrown into the ground, though. He got pile driven. I'm surprised he did not put that ball on the ground, to be honest. It wouldn't have mattered, of course, with the offside, but he got drilled. So we'll do third down yet again. Again, another pass to Cade Klubnik in shotgun. He drops it off to Maton in the backfield, and he will only pick up a yard, and that will be one of the more interesting 3-and-outs you'll ever see to start a season. So, the Dogs off to a hot start. So, this punt, it'll happen eventually. Here we go. Georgia doesn't really send anyone. It's a good punt, received at the 25 and brought back to about the 33. So, Georgia will see the offense for the first time in 2024. Well, you know what I mean. in this start of the season. Alright, Carson Beck, season goals, win a natty, win the Heisman, get drafted in the first round. So still scoreless, of course, Clemson with the only drive so far. Again, welcome everyone to the stream. If you're in here, just doing kind of a pseudo watch along. Of course, I can't show any footage. As this quick pass, this is big, 10-yard gain, one play, one first down. Mike Bobo with some instant motion offense on a pseudo end around that will end up being an 11-yard completion for Carson Beck. So if you're in the chat or if you're in the stream, feel free to chat and we can discuss Georgia football, Clemson football, NFL football, college football in general. Whatever works. Here, the handoff, stop behind the line. Jeez, that's not Barrett Carter. That's a big boy on the inside. Branson Robinson, his first rush goes backwards. And hey, it's hard to stand up Branson Robinson. He's a big bruising back. And there, he got absolutely sat down. Interesting offensive formation here. Delp on the line. More motion now back, two receivers to the left. It will be a bubble screen. Good blocking, however, having to make a man miss and unable to was the Bulldog who received it out wide. So, gain of nothing yet again, and it will be a 3rd and long, a 3rd and 10 to be exact. Georgia going quickly. 3 wide receivers to the far side. Now Delp, one of those, motions to the close. He's in the slot, and now after a snap count, trying to get Clemson offsides, they'll reset. 3rd and 10, an unusual spot for the Dogs. Carson Beck dropping back. He has nothing. Navigating the pocket. Now he'll explode through the gap. He'll pick up the first down, and eventually he trips himself up as he saw a Clemson Tiger coming for him and perhaps got a little bit scared on the juke, but that was an excellent job of navigating the pocket. I mean, that is why he will be a first-round draft pick. That was well done. Looked off the linebacker that was closing in. And now the offense will keep rolling. Delp in motion. He'll be a blocker on the outside for another bubble screen. It looks like Muse receives it. That's Bell, excuse me. Muse is transferred out, I believe. So Bell, 2-yard gain, nothing too much. I'm still set so much in the last season that I'm bringing up names that are no longer on the team. Here, handoff. Not too much open for Branson Robinson. And again, he'll be behind the line of scrimmage. Maybe made it back to it if he was lucky. So they're popping up a graphic. Offensive production to replace Brock Bowers and then all those receivers and Dejon Edwards and Kendall Milton. Yeah, it's going to be rough, but the transfers coming in at the wide receiver position should take easy control of that spot. And running back, not too much of a worry, I think, when ETN plays. And even with Branson Robinson and Nate Frazier, should be fine. Cash Jones in the game. He won't get the look. Instead, it will be an incomplete pass to Bell on the sideline. Now, it looks like a Clemson coach just made contact with Bell, but doesn't look like anything followed. Maybe they just know each other. It was some weird scenario. And Georgia will at the punt. They're only on the Clemson 40. So, really a great chance to put Clemson in a corner here, but I would almost feel more comfortable going with this, or for this, but he will try and coffin corner them. It's a good punt, and it will be downed at the 5. Well done by Thorson on the punt. And Clemson will be deep in their own zone to start their next drive. So again, want to thank everyone for watching. If anyone's in here, I appreciate it. Also, if no one's in here and they're watching later, appreciate you watching along. But right now, each team getting a drive and nothing coming of it. Around the scoreboards, looks like Illinois State was unable to score on their first drive, and so was Penn State. So West Virginia and Iowa now with the ball. And then the next game, well, there goes another switchback. Penn State getting it right back. That might have been a turnover. Next game that will start, Chattanooga and Tennessee. Chattanooga, I don't think is going to lose by 40, but we'll see how good Tennessee is this year. Again, if you're in the stream and you want to leave a chat, have something, a topic you want to discuss, feel free. Can talk about it as we're getting through commercials. So Clemson will start on their own 5. Georgia with a good chance to get the ball back. They just got a 3-and-out on their first drive that Clemson had. So good job. And now have a chance to do that again and get the ball in positive positioning. This Penn State-West Virginia game is going to be very good. Spread of about 7.5. But I like West Virginia. Penn State has had a bad offense, but top 10 team. You never know. To be honest, I didn't think we would be the 7 or so minutes we are through this game and be scoreless. I expected one of these teams to come out on their first drive and put up points. So the fact that did not happen is very interesting. Look, probably too bright of a light over here. Yeah. Let's see if I can change it. There we go. That's not bad. Hi, Israel. Alright, so back to the game. We've gone through all the ads. They're showing last season's lack of success, to be honest. Clemson, snap, wide gap up the middle. Good job from the defensive end to kick over. And yet another flag. The run from Clemson will only net about 1 yard, but we'll see what the flag is. Again, this is a very heavy penalized game so far. Hi, Israel. Holding, penalties declined. Interesting. I mean, it would have been... If you accept that penalty, it's only about a 1st and 13 because they're on their 5, 6. So instead, just take the 2nd and 8, which is probably the right decision. Clemson averaged last year about 5 yards per play, so really didn't matter one way or another, I think. Georgia, 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers in the box. They're looking pass. It'll be a pitch to the outside, only 1 corner over there, and that will be a first down or close to it on the 7-yard toss to the outside. It was 2nd and 8. Looks like he only got 7. We'll see if the chains move. They're staying put. So it will be a 3rd and 1. Maffa, good pickup there. That one you kind of knew if it was a pitch to the outside, it could have some good yardage. Only one corner out there. And, of course, with the 2 linebackers, tight end just has to seal that edge. The 3rd and 1. Right up the middle and met in the gap, however, falling forward for the yard, and Clemson will pick up the 1st down. So, Clemson gets their 1st down of the game. First down. As Phil Maffa, the running back they've started to rely on, picks it up. So, around the league, West Virginia gets the ball right back. And Iowa still with the ball. No scores from around the league 30 minutes into the first Saturday. Phil Maffa, another toss. Good open field tackle by the Bulldogs. That was pure technique. Great job. Just a reminder, if you're hopping in the stream for the first time, this isn't a true watch-along because I can't show game footage. However, if you're watching the game and want to listen to a Georgia fan's perspective, or if you're a Clemson fan and want to see another team's perspective, or just want to hop in the chat, that's awesome. Also, to be fair, if you don't have a streaming service and you only have one way to get the game, this isn't a bad way. Cade Klubnik passing. He doesn't think he had anything open. Looks like this drag was open, and it looks like he is chucking the ball away, and he has. Looks like he had that 5-yard drag open at the start of the play, and he didn't take it. And now a 3rd and 7. There is an injury. It's Brinson, and Kirby Smart's going to trot out there. So that will lead us to commercial as Warren Brinson is down. Oh, that's my mouse over there. So another break, still scoreless. Georgia will have the 3rd down opportunity to stop Clemson. I really just want to see this Georgia offense go to work. That's the part of the team I'm most interested in, at least right at this point. If you see me wiping my brow and everything, it is because my AC has gone out in my house, and it is about 1,000,000 degrees in here. So I apologize if it... I definitely can already tell looking at my face cam. So for me, my face cam's right here. I got a little bit of a glow on me. I also got something on my hat. I don't know what that is, but I got a little bit of a glow. I am going to turn off my camera for a second and move my fan. I mean, I don't need to turn the camera off. The camera to me is the distance Georgia's going to win by, alright? So, just so you know. Don't look at the bed. No one needs to see the bed. It's not made. I have to go into work later. You think I'm making my bed before I go into work? That's not happening. Interesting, though, is that when I go into work, I'll have we have our sports reporter at this game. So we have our official sports reporter covering the game, getting footage and pictures right now, I assume, talking to players when they can. So that's very cool. So if you're in the stream and want to chat, just leave a message. As for, I guess we'll look around the league again. Nothing happening. All these games about halfway through their first quarter. And just lots of nothing. Of course, this is the top 25. There's more going on. Let's see if I can get all games. This could crash everything. There you go. There's all games. How does that look? Did we do it? Looks good. As back in the Georgia game, we are ready. So Warren Brinson off the field. So we got a good amount of games going on, and in those games, Maryland's leading, Purdue's leading, and Clemson slant pass. Is that caught? What a catch, however, short of the line to gain. And this is about a yard short. And I can't believe the Clemson offense will stay on here. We'll see. It looks like Cade Klubnik wants to, but on your own 25, you got to get off the field. And he eventually does with the rest of the offense. So we'll see what kind of field positioning Georgia gets as this punt will be from their own 25. All right. This punt, let's see if it's as good as the first one. This one a little worse. Fair catch at the 34, though. So same spot it ended up in last time, as Evans has to take the fair catch. So, Clemson, Georgia, tied at nothing, almost 10 minutes into the first quarter. 5:34 left. All right, Georgia, Carson Beck receives the snap, gives it off to Branson Robinson, and I guess maybe I should have been more worried about this running game because 2-yard gain, Branson Robinson 3 rushes and maybe a yard. So not what you want to see. Clemson is dominating the trenches on the defensive side. On the offensive side, they've been content to throw with Klubnik, and it hasn't worked out yet. That certainly would not be my game plan, but I know you're worried about Georgia dominating the defensive line. However, with Warren Brinson maybe out with injury now. Here, this curl is open. Carson Beck will take it. And yet again, a good open field tackle from the Tigers. Lovett only gets about 5 yards, and it will be a 3rd and short. 3rd and 4, so more like a 3rd and medium. This Clemson defense is good. That's not going to be their issue this year. It wasn't their issue last year, to be honest. So Georgia gets a more manageable 3rd down this time. And of course, last season they led the FBS in 3rd down conversion percentage. Beck scanning. He'll throw the drag. I think it was caught. However, it's a yard short. Georgia will be there on their own 44, so this seems like punting scenario, but just a good little stunt here from the Clemson D-line, and no one picked it up on the Georgia O-line, so free rusher after the stunt, and Carson Beck got drilled, and honestly looked like a little bit more roughing the passer. Thorson on to punt. Thorson will boot this one away. It's a good one. And they will be down within their own 20 at their own 14-ish. So, no offense here as we've had 12 minutes of game go by. So, Georgia offense has right now kind of fallen flat. This is certainly not the first quarter experience I was expecting from the Dogs. I really thought this game would come out much differently. However, 0-0 after 13 minutes or so played is an interesting spot to be in. For anyone new joining, I just want to remind you this isn't a true watch-along because I can't show straight footage of the game. However, watch-along in the terms of we got a scoreboard, we got the other scores. Can't see my hand, whatever. Other scores. We got the chat if you're in the stream and want to hop in the chat and discuss something. Always feel free to do that. As scores around the league, Louisville up 10 on Austin Peay. I got a couple letters from Austin Peay when I was in high school. That was funny. Bucknell Navy, Clemson, Georgia, Purdue, Indiana State. That one is relatively known game now, probably because of Indiana State performance in basketball more than anything else. Pittsburgh, Kent State, the Flash is actually putting up a touchdown. Penn State, West Virginia, perhaps the most interesting game on the docket besides Clemson, Georgia, at least right now, of course. All knotted up at 0. Maryland, UConn, 14-0. Vandy beating Virginia Tech. Of course, Virginia Tech, a heavy favorite of about 14. So they right now are not performing up, but I personally had Vanderbilt, so I'm excited about that score. Wagner, Virginia Lynchburg. I also got letters from Virginia Lynchburg. Wagner beating them. Those are all our games to, at least right now. See a couple new people joining. Appreciate you hopping in. Again, can't show footage of the game, but we're watching along together. I'm a Georgia fan, so if you're a Clemson fan, feel free to put your opposing opinions in the chat, or if you're a Georgia fan as well, we can talk about whatever you're seeing. So far, seeing a lot of defense. Not the type of game I was expecting. I really thought the Dogs would be up about 10-0 by now. I thought for sure that one of these teams was going to come out and score on their first drive. The way that we often expect a team to come out and make a difference. That's what I was expecting on the first drive, and it didn't exactly happen. So, and you can see some. I can't get this pointing right. I can't. My camera is flipped, so whatever thing I do is wrong. You can see some of my degrees from Georgia. These are the smaller ones. As we're back in the game, Kate Klubnik passing again. Deep ball. It's open and caught. That is a heck of a throw and a heck of a catch from Clemson. And the first time the offenses have really appeared to be awake. The defense for Georgia, the pass rush right there, well covered, but the ball placement perfect. A diving catch caught. Clemson's going to hurry to the line because it looked like it was bobbled. Referees will hold it up, and we'll see if we get a challenge, timeout, something. Play has stopped. And the play is under review. At the very end, it did look like it got bobbled a bit, and we'll see if it hits turf. To me, that's a catch. To me, that is a catch. Let's see this camera angle. The ball does look like it hits the ground and jostles a little bit, but to me, that is a catch. And that was... Okay, maybe not. That might not be a catch. Georgia might get out of this one. They're bringing in the rules analyst. It seems like the refs are already ready. It is a catch. So, Clemson with the first big offensive play of the game on a about 40-yard passing completion. I mean, that was just perfect receiving and perfect throw from Klubnik, who has not looked good to start today. So we'll see if that gives him some momentum. 36 yards on that play. Almost double what they got on the first two drives. And they go back to the run game, this time not with Maffa, and it's a 2-yard loss. Wow. So Clemson the first time over midfield, and then they go right back. If you're in the chat, let me know what your favorite game is today. If it's not this one. Or even if it is this one. Cade Klubnik. We'll see if he drops back to pass here. I have to assume so. In shotgun. Fakes the draw. Pulls it back. He'll throw a drag route. Nice little completion for him. But little is what it is at the end of the day. Only about a 2-yard gain as the Georgia defender, Smile Munden, right on that one, holding up the big slot receiver before he can get anywhere. So, another big third down, and it is a 3rd and long yet again for Clemson. A 3rd and 9. The snap, again, fake draw. Throw over the middle. It's caught. That will be a 1st down. Scampering towards the sideline. Curl in the middle of the field, but there is a flag. We'll see what it is, and if it's holding. It's at the line of scrimmage, so likely either holding or offside. And yet again, penalty stops the drive, or at least halts it. It was a legal formation. So yet again, Clemson with a decent play that gets brought back. Let's see, who blocked? Yeah, just 2 wide receivers on top of each other. Of course, can't do that. Can't do that if you're Clemson. And now a 3rd and 9, which you converted, becomes a 3rd and 14. They'll do a bubble screen, and this will go nowhere. And after advancing past the 50 on one play, they go right backwards, and they'll have to punt from their own 45. Louisville now up 17 over Austin Peay. Purdue up 14. No scores, updates in any of the bigger games, and by bigger I mean Penn State, West Virginia, and Vanderbilt, Virginia Tech, although Iowa has scored a field goal. So this will bring us almost to the end of the first quarter, just 30 seconds left. Good punt here, at least looks like it. And it will bounce into the end zone. A bad hop for Clemson. That one looked like it was about to go out in the 5 and took a straight beeline back towards the center of the end zone and lands into it. So, not as good of a punt as I thought it would be. It was perfectly placed right on the sideline. Hit it at about the 9. Looked like it would go out at maybe the 4 or 5. Instead, cut right back in towards the middle. And unable to down it were the punt team for Clemson. So, Georgia back with the ball. We'll only really get one play here. 15 seconds left. So, 15 seconds left in the first quarter. We'll see what they draw up. Mike Bobo's offense hasn't looked great. Pancake from the left tackle. They'll just go in the flat. Branson Robinson, a good move. He'll pick up 9. And that will end the first quarter. So, Georgia offense looking to finally put some points on the board. They'll have to do it in the next quarter, however. So, after 15 minutes, 0-0. Certainly not what I was expecting, but it's where we're at. Around the league, Georgetown got a safety for their first points of the season. Not a good start for Davidson. Vanderbilt put up another touchdown, or their first touchdown. So, if you had Virginia Tech negative 14, right now you're a 14-point favorite, not looking too hot, as they would need to cover by 24 points now, and they're only 15 minutes in the game, so it's possible, but doesn't look great. Penn State, West Virginia. Penn State just got on the board. They score their first touchdown of the season. At least it looks like that, unless they got 2 field goals in very rapid succession. The Flashes just gave the ball back to Pittsburgh. That's about it. As for this game, if you guys in the live stream have anything to chat about, feel free to leave it in the chat and we'll discuss it, talk about it. I bet you I can fit in more scores. I cannot. Well, we tried. Alright, stay with me, folks, while I try and get you more scores on the other scores tab. Look at that. We got one more extra row. Ain't that wonderful? Oh, let's change the quarter to the second, since that is where we're going to be at. And right now, my score prediction of 52-17, not looking too hot. So what do I know? And again, if you see me sweating or adjusting my hair or anything, it is because it is about 86 degrees in my house since the AC has gone out. Let's actually look it up. I got that Google Nest thermostat thing, so thermostat. It's 84 in the house. So, a little chilly. I said 86. Could always be worse. These local commercials for where I live in Macon, Georgia are something else. It's made by like 5-year-olds. No offense. I love this area, but I wouldn't say that. Dabo Sweeney getting interviewed for the second quarter. He does not look very happy. This is very reminiscent. I said this is giving, oh boy. This is very reminiscent of 10-3 when there were 2 field goals and a Georgia pick 6. Like, this is very similar in feel right now. Handoff, that'll pick up the first down. Georgia moves to their own 33. And that is Nate Frazier's first run of his career. Hey, 1 run, 1 first down ain't half bad. So Frazier right back off the field. Kirby Smart immediately talking with him. Cass Jones subbed in. Now he moves out wide. He's in the X position. Carson Beck throws to the other side of the field. Gets a short curl route complete to Bell. That'll be about 6. And it'll be 2nd and 4. Ooh, apparently Molly McGrath talked to Kirby Smart and they said that Trevor Etienne might be suspended more than just this one game. So, interesting there. Dominic Lovett receives it on the drag, and he'll burst forward for about 20 yards, and that is seemingly the biggest play for Georgia so far on offense. If you're just joining, we're doing a pseudo watch-along. Of course, I can't show the stream of the game, but we can have a scoreboard. We can have the scores from around the league, wherever I need to point, and we have a chat. So if you're in the stream, feel free to hop in the chat and discuss whatever you want to. Cass Jones moving out wide. 5 wide for Carson Beck. And there are 6 D linemen out there. Cass Jones gets it on the bubble screen. He'll get thrown forward, and he picks up about 9. Cass Jones right back out. The receiving back and special teams player will get a bit of a breather. So, Georgia's driving, and maybe a Clemson timeout. Yeah, so Clemson thought the same thing I did, that Georgia was starting to get their legs under them, and they'll take a timeout. We are at commercial break with the Clemson timeout. We'll take a look around the league again. West Virginia with the ball. So I can't tell if that Penn State was a touchdown or not, because they did not make the extra point if it was a touchdown. Maryland still up 14. Vanderbilt back with the ball, up 10 already. I wonder how well you guys can see those other scores. Let me see. It's definitely not the easiest thing. Yeah, definitely not the easiest thing for y'all to see. I apologize for that. Maybe we blow it up a bit, and then we readjust everything. Doing stuff on the fly, don't love it, but has to be done sometimes. Alright, that should work out well. You should be able to see those for sure now. There you go. You can definitely see those, and then if you want to see other scores, just let me know and I can scroll down like so. Illinois State, Iowa, still 3-0. Georgetown has 5 points now. Tennessee and Chattanooga just kicked off. Then up here, nothing much going on. Purdue winning big. Pittsburgh up. West Virginia still with the ball. And we'll leave it at that. See some new people joining. If you're joining and want to hop in the chat, that'd be awesome. Otherwise, we're doing a pseudo watch along. All right, Harry Dog greeting some young fans who are on field level. Very cute. Georgia with the ball on their own 41. First down markers at the 42. Oh, they're actually on the Clemson side. So they're on the 39, excuse me. Didn't realize they'd driven down so far. Short curl route, but off coverage was Clemson, so an easy 8-yard completion and an easy first down. So, good drive here for Georgia. Very methodical. Avion Terrell in that soft coverage, as you likely just heard, if you can hear it. Yeah, they just mentioned the last time Georgia didn't score in a season opener was that 10-3 win over Clemson. So Branson Robinson with the first down rush. Picked up maybe a yard. Actually lost a yard there. So 2nd and 11 for the Georgia offense, and that is a false start. So they'll go to a 2nd and 16. So 2nd and 16 for Georgia, moving backwards. Not the way you want to go, certainly. That was Ben Urosik, who is a transfer from Stanford. Interesting to see him out there and not Delp. Cash Jones in the backfield, the only running back. He'll go out. This cross over the middle, caught. An in route that was caught and then exploded upfield. Looked like Bell for about a 25-yard gain and a Georgia Bulldog first down. Bell, quick slant actually. Got not much separation from Terrell, however, right on the money from Beck. And Bell able to cut off field, shake off the tackle of Terrell, shake off another one until he was eventually dragged down by the ankle. That is now inside the red zone for the Dogs, who sit at the Clemson 14, looking to convert 2 wide receivers out on the near side. Carson Beck pulls it back, throw over the middle, incomplete. This time Terrell, right where he was last time, just this throw, not as much on the money. Ooh, Georgia and Beck looking for the touchdown, can't find it though. Ooh, yeah, that throw just came out a little wobbly, way too high. They're complaining that Colby Young was pulled down by Terrell. I don't think that would have been catchable no matter what. Here, a little short bubble screen. Looked like the tight end coming out. That's Lucky. He received it and got about 6 yards after the catch, and now it will be a 3rd and manageable. All right, this is where Georgia makes their money, their bread and butter, inside the 10, 3rd down. This is the biggest play of the game so far for either team. Bunches out to Carson Beck's right. Eventually that splits off with the motion. Now 2 on each side of Beck. Looks like Cash Jones in the backfield with him. And Carson Beck will be dragged down and sacked. So an unfortunate end to what was a promising Georgia drive. They'll likely get 3 out of it, but we'll have to wait to see the result of the field goal. Couple stunts. Honestly, not super successful. Beck just in the red zone. You got to get that out quicker. No one open. And we'll have a field goal attempt from Peyton Woodring. He's been extremely successful in these spots. And he will continue to be, as that one's right down the middle. And the first points on the board go to Georgia as they now lead 3-0. So, took us about 22 minutes to get a score, but someone finally did, and it was your Georgia Bulldogs. Looking around the league, we'll scroll back up. Louisville destroying Austin Peay, not really unexpected. Purdue beating Indiana State, not really unexpected. Penn State gets the ball back. This game is chugging slow. Just about 5 minutes into the second. I'm guessing that because in reality, a lot of the time this is a couple minutes behind. Everything else, Vanderbilt looking to extend their lead. Tennessee already on the board and have gotten the ball back. That's about it for this one. What is the best set of games? I don't even know. I guess this. We'll leave it on that for now. So if you're in the stream, you want to hop in the chat, ask questions, have a discussion, that'd be awesome. Otherwise, we're watching along with the Georgia Bulldogs and Clemson Tigers. These commercials, man, are crazy. We're an hour into, the noon start time, which was really like 12:10. Oh my God! Look at this. St. Francis has 93 points in the second quarter. What? CBS Sports is going crazy. St. Francis 93 points in the second quarter, as Vanderbilt just added another touchdown. Safe to say Virginia Tech should not have been favored in that game at this point by the margin they were. Is back to the game finally. Well, still reading commercials, but back to the game stream. There they go. They fix it. 9-3, not 9-93. All right, at the Benz. Whew, it is hot in this house. No AC, I'm dying. All right, so our first kickoff since the opening one, which Georgia also kicked away. They'll do so yet again. This one will also go out the end zone, and Clemson will take it at their own 25. All right, so finally back. Sorry, zoned out there. Little pitch here for Clemson's first play. Maffa met at the line of scrimmage. He'll fall forward for a yard or two. And that'll be a 2nd and 8 coming up. Clemson really struggling on offense, except that big explosive play they've had. It's been really poor drives. Here, a fake pitch to Maffa. Now it'll be a throw to him, and that will be about a 5-yard loss as Georgia instantly swarms him. Not a great play from Clemson. Very, very poor. As the Aflac trivia question, was, who are the 3 active FBS head coaches to win a national championship? Of course, it's Kirby Smart, Dabo Swinney, and the curveball in there is Mac Brown. Of course, you know, the 2 coaches in this game, relatively easy. Mac Brown, relatively easy to forget. So here, it looks like Clemson's going to have to take another timeout as the play clock reaches 0. And they will. So they've used 2 timeouts now. Only 1 remains. And this will be yet another timeout from the game. As I mean, they go to commercial break. So I'm going to take a little break for myself as well, and then I'll be right back. Got to regain the energy. So leave you with some music, and we'll be right back. Alright, we're back. Let's do this thing. Clemson starting their drive. Cade Klubnik dropping back. He has an open man. Not starting their drive, ending their drive, as that was a 3rd and 12 and they only pick up 11. So, I forgot the situation, but Georgia did not, as they allow the completion but stop the first down, as Penn State has scored yet again. It is now 13-0 over West Virginia. And it looks like Clemson is leaving their offense out on the field, 4th and 1. They're on their own 34. Just to put this in perspective, this now becomes the biggest play of the game. Cade Klubnik on the snap count, and he will call the timeout. So it got down to 1 second. They try and get Georgia offsides. It doesn't work. And now Clemson, 6 minutes left in the half, have no timeouts. Dabo is pissed with Cade Klubnik. looks like we got some new viewers. Not sure if they stuck around, but if you did, you want to talk in the chat, that's awesome. So we do this pseudo watch along. So you got Penn State over West Virginia, not certainly what I was hoping for. Vanderbilt over Virginia Tech, certainly what I was hoping for, even though I love Virginia Tech. I went on a little tour there. So now the punt team is on for Clemson. Aiden Swanson, so far, 3 punts. He's been good, averaging about 50. Georgia, again, not really sending... They send 4 this time. This one unreturnable, and that one the worst punt of the night from either team, as that will land at the 29 and go back to the 32. So now Georgia gets a chance to keep their momentum going. Louisville now up 31-0. Just looking at some scores from around the league. Purdue 21-0. Penn State 13-0. Pittsburgh 21-7 over Kent State. Maryland up 17-0 on UConn. Vanderbilt same score over Virginia Tech. Iowa still only 3 points on Illinois State. And Tennessee 14-0 over Chattanooga. Carson Beck dropping back, looking deep. The throw, the catch. Lawson Lucky at the 40 to the 35. Georgia already in Clemson territory, a big 35-yard gain from Lawson Lucky. Georgia looking to keep going quickly. They're reset at the new line of scrimmage, 25 seconds still on the play clock. Robinson receives it in the backfield and is instantly swarmed and will eventually go down. We'll see what the forward progress looks like. That one, not too good looking of a play after perhaps the best offensive play Georgia's had all game. Second and 15 it will become after the short dump off. Nate Frazier in the backfield. Carson Beck looks to drop. Wow, Frazier just has an explosive ability. Beck found an open Lovett, however, threw it behind him, and Lovett couldn't bring it in. And it will be 3rd and 15. Lovett was wide open. Just too far behind him. Lovett should bring that in. $14 of 17 today is Carson Beck. However, that miss, a bad one. Beck will dump this off. Cash Jones, he'll need to make a man miss. He can't, and this will be a long field goal for Woodring. Seems like that was the intention of the play, was to set up a more manageable field goal, which they did with about a 5-yard gain. 35-yard line. This will be a long field goal. This would be a career long for Woodring. Of course, you got to remember the holder is Carson Beck, so maybe a little trickery, but doubt it. This is going to be a 55-yarder from Peyton Woodring. Beck, good hold. It's up, and it is good by an inch, by a literal inch. Wow, by a literal inch. The distance was fine. It just squeaks in the goalpost. What a job by Peyton Woodring. What a job by Peyton Woodring. 55. Yes. 55-yarder. Huge play. I didn't realize you were in here, Mom. Otherwise, I would not be talking about the Heat so much. Is that Vince Dooley they just showed as Georgia kicks it away? Under 5 minutes in the second quarter. And this one will go out the back of the end zone. No comment. Clemson starts their new drive with a rush and a good 7 yards. It'll be 2nd and 3. Looking around the league, Navy now up more on Bucknell. Georgia, of course, 6-0. Pittsburgh 28-7 now. Penn State still holding their lead. Vanderbilt the same. Iowa the same. Tennessee extends their lead to 21. And hey, when I said I don't think Chattanooga would lose by 38, I might have been wrong. Cade Klubnik rolling out. He'll fire deep. He's looking for a big bomb, and almost getting the interception is Georgia. As the Clemson wide receiver had no idea where the ball was. Georgia's safety saw it the whole way, but it was just out of reach. Cade Klubnik had the right idea. The Clemson Tiger wide receiver was open. However, he just stopped his route. Wow, that was bad from Turner. Here, they'll take a shot again. This time not Turner, this time broken up. And that is a bad defensive pass interference call, in my opinion. We'll see. I'll have to see the replay, but this looks like it'll be a flag for DPI. And they actually pick up the flag. Referees do their job for once. Yeah, it's a lot of grappling between both of them. So I like the no call, as the color commentator is saying. It started with a push-off, and then, of course, the hand fighting begins. So I think it's an accurate call. And it looks like the Clemson offense is out on the field. Dabo Sweeney is irate, which is what you can expect when a flag is picked up on a 3rd down. And now here comes the punt unit. Yeah, Aiden Swanson's last punt brought his average down from 47 to 44, so you do the math. He'll be punting this time from about his own 22 after his run-up. Again, not a good punt. This one brought in and an immediate tackle from the coverage team at the 31. So Georgia will get a chance with about 3 minutes left in the half to put up their first touchdown of the game. Of course, we have the 2-minute warning now in college football, so we'll have to wait for that. West Virginia gets on the board with a field goal. Good to see from them, considering I took them to beat the spread. So Carson Beck has 3 minutes and 13 seconds to lead this team on a scoring drive. He'll hand it off to Nate Frazier. His explosive burst allows him to get 6 yards on a play that looked relatively shut down. Frazier comes up maybe a little bit slowly. Looks fine, though. Really, only 4 yards given on that. I thought he fell forward. But, see, I don't think Branson Robinson on that picks up 4 because he was... If he had any slower of a burst, he wasn't getting through that B gap. There's Frazier again. Good cutback. Now he'll pick up the first down. And, man, this guy is going to be good. Offside here from Clemson. Bomb deep is incomplete, so they'll just take the yards. And that is the 2-minute timeout. Alright, so 2-minute timing. 2-minute timeout, I should say. For some reason, they don't call it the 2-minute warning. If anyone new has joined, welcome. Feel free to hop in the chat. Around the league, not much happening since the last update. Maybe literally nothing happening. I mean, see some scores updating in the less important games, but besides that, not much. So, hey. I'm going to take a short break during this 2-minute timeout. We'll be back. All right, the 2-minute timeout has ended. Carson Beck receives the snap. He keeps it, nothing open. He'll toss it upfield. Caught! Space ahead of him. Only the safety to beat. Bell gets wrapped up at the 11. That was a broken play. We'll see if it's coming back. I have to think that's a legal man downfield because of how broken that play was. Wow. Out of the 2-minute timeout, big gain. I have to think this is a legal man downfield. Unfortunately. So the actual call will be pass interference on the offense for blocking. That one was just a broken play, so it's not really a mistake. Like, however, it being offensive pass interference is a 10-yard penalty instead of just the 5. So now back to their own 32, 1st and 20. They'll need a lot. Hand off to Frazier. He'll pick up about 6. So Georgia taking it slow in case they don't pick up this first down, not leave Clemson much time, especially with no timeouts. Beck looking, scanning the field, nothing open. He escapes the pocket, still looking, firing, broken up, pass interference. No, that's not the call, but there is a flag on the field. This penalty is from behind the line of scrimmage, so if it's on Georgia, they'll likely just run the ball. It is holding. It's declined. No matter what here, Georgia will probably do something short, either a run or a bubble screen, and if it's unsuccessful in picking up the first down, they'll punt it away with as little time left as possible. Wow, Georgia going out 4 wide, 3 on the near side, 3 on the far side, excuse me. It will just be a handoff to Branson Robinson. He'll pick up about 5 or 6, however, obviously not enough on the 3rd and 14. And that will be almost to half. Play clock is at 40. Or excuse me, play clock is at 25, and then the game clock is at 30. So about a 6-second difference. 5-6 seconds. So actually 8-second difference as Georgia takes a timeout to maximize that. Oh, they actually reset it to 11 seconds. So 11 seconds on the clock. So Clemson will get a chance to block a punt. So Georgia unable to do anything on their last drive before half, and it looks like we'll go into half 6-0. However, Clemson will get a chance to block this punt. So Clemson should send everyone here. They don't really. And it will bounce into the end zone. So Clemson will have one play with 1 second left in the half. So Dogs will have to play defense for 1 more second, literally, and then we'll go into half and see how it goes. If you're just joining, this is a watch-along. Of course, I can't show actual footage of the game, so we just have the scoreboard, which we need to update. I haven't been updating it. There we go. Now it's perfect. As Clemson will take a knee. So this is the official halftime score, and if you're just joining, at halftime, I normally take a little bit of a break. However, if anyone new is in here and wants to comment in the chat to start a discussion, I will stay right here. However, if nothing new pops off in the chat, I will probably leave for a second, and then we'll come back before half to discuss the halftime thoughts. All right, so it looks like nothing new is coming in. I'm going to go ahead and take my break during halftime. We'll be back in about 10 minutes to discuss halftime thoughts and second half thoughts. All right, welcome back. Oop. So nothing much has happened, still at halftime, but figure we could come back and discuss what we saw in the first half. If you're just joining or are new to the stream, you can always pop in chat, say hello, give a take or whatever, and we can talk about it. It's just over there on the far side. You'll see your comment come up in real time. Pretty cool. Of course, this is a watch-along stream. However, can't actually watch along with the game because I don't want to get copyright striked or anything. I want to keep this channel. So there is that. But yeah, getting into it. If you are just hopping in, feel free to leave your thoughts in below in the chat, and we could talk about them. My thoughts is that this is a different game than I was expecting, to be honest. It's very reminiscent of the 10-3 Georgia win. Clemson hasn't changed their offense since last season, and that was something they desperately needed to do. So interesting to see in that way that they've kept the same old when the same old didn't work. As for Georgia, Mike Bobo being the offensive coordinator, I mean, there's been so many question marks around him. So far, obviously hasn't worked out very well. 6 points. This Clemson defense has been stout, but just 6 points on some not amazing play calling. Certainly not the spot you want to be in. Other than that, the defensive side for Georgia, I mean, it's obviously been very, very good. It's been a bright spot, but that was something that, we kind of knew would be, it was kind of obvious, I should say. Like, this was something we knew was going to happen, was the Georgia defense would play well. 0 points, a shutout in the first half. You'll always take, though. Looking around the league, Louisville at halftime up big on Austin Peay, 38-0. Navy finally extending their lead over Bucknell at halftime, 28-7. Purdue over Indiana State. They just started the second half. That game's a bit closer than I thought it would be. Pittsburgh and Kent State. Speaking of close, Kent State hanging around. Penn State and West Virginia. Penn State just scored a touchdown, so they're up 20-6 over West Virginia. I thought West Virginia would be a bit closer, so weird to see that. At halftime, UConn, Maryland. Maryland leads 23-0. Interesting to see that be so close. Virginia Tech finally gets on the board right before half to make it 17-3. Iowa's offense is still horrible. They lead 6-0 over Illinois State. And Tennessee beating Chattanooga 31-0 with 12 minutes left in the second. They are putting a beat down on Chattanooga and certainly looking quite good. So we're in the third quarter. Whenever we come back, we still got time. Again, if you're in the stream and haven't been here before, feel free to hop in the chat. Georgia, things they need to do to play better. They got to test out some deeper options here. We've seen bubble screens. We've seen short in-breaking routes, short curls. I would love to see something a little bit more special from this Georgia team, get something going. I would also like to see a reestablishment of the run game, maybe some more interesting run designs, get some guards pulling, maybe some tosses. Really, it's just been inside zone after inside zone. Defensively for Georgia, of course, it's just keep doing what you're doing. That's always going to be the message when you get a shutout at half. Kirby Smart commercial as he walks through the Georgia facilities. Georgia's still winning 6-0 at half. Alright, now that we've gotten the halftime thoughts out of the way, I'm going to take another short little break and we'll be back in just a second. Oh, that's the wrong thing. That was the chat. Alright, see you guys soon. right, second half kickoff has gone up and has come down. Of course, no return. That's not unexpected. And we are back for second half action. So they're showing some Carson Beck highlights from the first half. Georgia, of course, receiving the ball as they kicked first. Beck will go under center. His tight ends will motion in. There'll be an end around, cutting up field and getting driven into the ground is the wide receiver. There'll be about a 7-yard gain and a 2nd and 3 coming up. Arian Smith with a decent gain to start out the half. They're showing Mike Bobo, who needs to have a better second half as an offensive play caller. We'll see play action. It's open. Caught! Arian Smith, one man to beat. He gets dragged down. Actually, a couple men to beat, but that is a huge gain. And into Clemson territory already are the Dogs early in the third quarter. All right, Georgia at Clemson's 36-yard line. That was a big gain. Good play call from Mike Bobo. We'll see how often we're saying that. Beck testing downfield. This will be a touchdown if it's caught. It's broken up. No flags. The intended target, Dominic Lovett, looks like he had it for a second but couldn't bring it in. That's a holding, if not a DPI, though. That went uncalled. Dylan Bell down the sideline as he'll be within the 10-yard line. Sorry, I was getting upset about the... All right, Georgia at the 9-yard line after Dylan Bell gets an explosive play. They'll swap the sides their tight ends are on. 2 tight ends set. Arian Smith now in motion. 2 wide receivers to the other side of the tight ends. Handoff up the middle. Fighting forward is Frazier. He's eventually dragged back. Just a simple gain of 2 or so. So this is a long drive for Georgia. Started on their own 25, looking to cap this one off with their first touchdown of the season. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Looks like we just got a couple people in here, but if you've joined, I appreciate it. If you want to talk and chat, of course, you can see it on your screen. You'll be featured. We can have a nice little combo as Georgia on the 2nd and goal from the 7. This will be a goal line fade. It's open and it's caught. Georgia with their first touchdown of the season. Goal line fade on off coverage. It wasn't even hard as it was brought in by Colby Young. Same zip code. Was not the Clemson corner as he looked like he thought it was an in-breaking route the whole way, and Colby Young does almost an out route in the end zone. Some late contact, but Young able to battle through it and hold on for Georgia's first touchdown of the season. Georgia thinking about going for two. They've left the offense out there. Young from Binghamton, New York. Been around that area a little bit. Know their hockey team, at least. Here, Georgia going for two, looking for the flat route. Cash Jones not there, and an early penalty flag kills the play. So you would think that means false start, and that would actually save Georgia. It is a false start because absolutely nothing was open. So now Georgia can just take the extra point. So we'll update the scoreboard. I was going to wait until the 2-point conversion, but it is 12-0. So Peyton Woodring now will kick the point after. And Woodring nails it, so 13-0, and a quick first drive for Georgia to put their first touchdown on the board of the season. So excellent job by Colby Young to get open. Good throw from Beck. And the Dogs now double up their lead and add one more on the point after to make it 13-0. So looking around the league, Purdue up big. Louisville still up big. Penn State and West Virginia finally into halftime. Virginia Tech and Vanderbilt out of halftime. Iowa scores what looks like their first touchdown of the season. And Tennessee has already hit that spread of 38.5, and there is still 7 minutes in the second quarter. As Upper Iowa and Butler, it's 13-0. I don't really care about that one, to be honest. South Dakota State and Oklahoma State set to kick off in about 5 minutes here or so, and that is an updated look from around the league. As I keep getting updates on my phone about the score of the game, even though I'm watching. As we'll see how this one extends, Clemson is going to get their first drive of the second half coming up here, and they're going to need to show something. As the Dogs are up 13 points. At least 2 scores. So if you're just joining, or if you've been in here for a while, of course, this is our watch-along stream, giving my thoughts and opinions on the game and calling it a little bit since I can't show any actual footage. But if you're watching, feel free to leave a chat in the chat section and we can talk about whatever it is you wish to talk about. Looks like we are 1 viewer away from hitting 50 total. Not our normal performance, a little under it, but still very thankful for all 50 of you that have come out. And of course, it looks like right now we've just got a couple people in here. as we're going through some more weird ads at the Benz. But another kickoff here, another Georgia kickoff. Important to remember that Clemson's only had one, and it was the one coming out of half where Georgia put together a 2-minute and 59-second touchdown drive. If you ever see me typing, it's because I am typing up on Twitter, which you can go follow me at Cop Show Joe, KOPSHO Joe. As after the first Clemson play of this half, there's an injury. So we'll take a timeout. With them, I will take a short timeout. If you're new to the stream, just joining, we just hit 50 viewers on total. If you're just joining, feel free to leave a comment in the chat section. That's what we try and build around here, is a fun chat section. So if you want to do that. Otherwise, I'll be back in about 2 minutes, as I'm going to take a little break, getting a little flustered. But when we come back, can answer some stuff and continue the watch along. Back here as Clemson looks to get on the board. Kind of feels like a do-or-die drive for them, as they'll be on their own 28.5 after the first down gain of about 3. Klubnik will snap the ball, pull the handoff back, throw a little bit of a screen, and it's instantly swallowed up. They get maybe to the 30, and we'll have a 3rd and 5. So for a do-or-die drive, instantly starting with a third and medium, not exactly what you had planned for yourself. So 3rd and 5 here. Klubnik scanning his left. Now he has to move over with the pressure. Still looking, throws upfield. Insane grab, one-handed snag. As Brenningstool brings it in. The big slot wide receiver, 19-yard gain as he makes a great one-handed grab. Good coverage. Klubnik puts it in the only spot that he could. Hi, Sebastian and Lucy. I hope y'all are doing well with your new lives now after West Point. Alright, Clemson in Georgia territory, situation they haven't been in much. They'll run a ball up the middle with the inside zone and pick up 3. As this is the first time that Clemson has been in Georgia territory since they got into it in the first half and then instantly had to retreat out as they lost a yard and had some penalties and then punted away eventually. The first time they get to have offense really on this side of the field. Klubnik scanning, out route, wide open. Georgia trying to swarm. However, Clemson will pick up the first down. What do you think about Army football? Are they better than Navy? Probably not. I mean, hey, the advantage of that is you get to find out every single year in Army-Navy week where the full focus of college football is on them. I think Navy is probably better this year. They're winning right now in the other score section over Bucknell, which I'm glad they're winning because that would be bad if they weren't. Around the league elsewhere, nothing much happening. Oh, Virginia Tech put a touchdown up on the board. They now just trail by 7, and Tennessee is just absolutely destroying Chattanooga. Here in this game, Clemson completes the drag, and they are down within the 15, and it will be a 3rd and 2, maybe less. So Clemson looks like they, as long as they don't commit a turnover, have guaranteed themselves points this drive. But we'll see. Last season, they were pitiful in the red zone. Timeout comes in. It will... Which side will it be on? Previous play is under review, so it's actually an official timeout. I don't know what it would be for. I would guess the catch, but it looked like a catch the whole way. Jumping pass from Cade Klubnik. Oh, they're looking at targeting. It would seem like the review would perhaps be for targeting. Let me confirm. As we're at commercial break, so as I assume officials are looking to see if they need to eject someone from the game. It didn't super look like targeting at the time it happened. However, in the review, I guess I could see it a little bit, but... We'll see after the break. Thank you, Sebastian and Lucy, for joining. I appreciate it. I hope y'all are doing well, like I said. We'll have to try and hang out sometime in the near future whenever y'all get any free time. These commercials are ridiculous. Every 5 minutes, and they last seemingly 5 minutes themselves. As we'll have to wait to see the fate of Clemson's best drive yet. As still in commercial break. This is ridiculous. So we'll see how Georgia can stand up on this third down anyway. Of course, the targeting is the big worry here, as you don't ever want to lose a player in that fashion. Still waiting on these commercials. This is a long targeting review. Or perhaps they just don't want to give the people what they want, which is the actual game of football at any single point in time. Here we go, finally back.
While we were away, Mike Brooks, the referee, announced after review, no targeting against KJ Bolden.
So no targeting decided against KJ Bolden. Good to hear, as that would have been bad for the true freshman. 3rd and 2, Clemson on Georgia's 14. Inside zone, and it will be a first down. And now within the 10 on the 7, falls forward Maffa. So it will be a 1st and goal, Clemson's first time within the 10, as they look to put their first points of the season on board. Geez, that whole sentence was brutal. First points of the season on the board. Wow, Kent State really holding around with Pittsburgh. Here, toss to Maffa. He's met at the line of scrimmage. He'll fall forward for maybe a yard. As you can see, Kent State now just trails Pittsburgh by a touchdown. Maryland up big over UConn. Vanderbilt trying to get their lead back to where it was. Iowa 12-0. Again, yet another year where it might just be about taking Iowa unders this entire year. Second and goal from the 6. A generous spot and a great play by Michael Williams. He was double teamed as Cade Klubnik kept it on the QB keeper. And Michael Williams battles through the double team and is able to get him behind the line. 2 pulling guards coming out to get Michael, and he fights through both of them. And now it will be a 3rd and goal from the 8. Three down linemen for the Dogs, expecting some sort of pass. Now they'll go from the nickel and bring those linebackers into the A-gap. They'll rush 4, rushing 5. Touchdown pass thrown and dropped. Not even touched. It was wide open and the receiver had no idea where it was. There is a flag on the play. Wow, I thought that was a guaranteed touchdown. It was wide open and the wide receiver just never saw it, and it landed 1 foot in front of him. 1 foot. As Michael Williams is now down with an injury. That is horrible. Wow, if Michael Williams is injured, that is certainly horrible for the Dogs. chop block, illegal block below the waist declined. Is that what hurt Michael Williams? That would be so dirty.
Cross to Michael Williams, who's going to slide inside.
Yeah, it is.
He goes low below the waist. Michael getting up now under his own power. This has been an adjustment the last couple of years. If you're going to block below the waist, it has to be inside the time block, has to be straight ahead. So to come in an angle is illegal, and that's what the official did there. So Mata came across his body, came at an angle to the left leg of Michael, and that's what resulted in the penalty. Here's their new kicker, true freshman, Nolan.
So Clemson will kick the field goal. True freshman. He will drill it, and it is now 13-3.
71,000 on national TV in the opener, the halftime kickoff game, but he converts from 26 yards, and Clemson is on the board. They had a lot of field goal kicking problems last year, made just 62% of their field goals, which is extremely low, among the worst in the country. Next on the ACC network, a full slate of games. Georgia Tech and Syracuse. That says noon.
So Clemson makes the field goal, now 13-3.
Oh, it's next week. Next week, that's what I said. I have to pay attention. Get ready for Peter. There you go. You're trying to editorialize. Next week, Charlotte, North Carolina. And Appalachian State will be at Clemson for the home opener for the Tigers. All three games available on the ESPN app. You can watch anywhere. Nice drive by Clemson.
All right, so Clemson will now kick off the first time they are doing so when it's not coming out of half.
And a big moral victory there for Georgia. Got gashed a couple times. Had to endure the roughing the passer. And still to hold him to a field goal feels like a big win for the Dogs. Speaking of Georgia Tech and Syracuse, great win for Georgia Tech, obviously, in Cleveland against Florida State. Syracuse about to begin the Fran Brown era, the former Georgia assistant. They kick off.
So Carson Beck will take the field after that one goes out the back of the end zone. Vanderbilt has added a field goal, so they're now up 20-10. Pittsburgh has scored, so they're back up a larger amount, 34-21. Tennessee up huge over Chattanooga.
Part of that third round action. ESPNU pictures scored. They're up 34-21, and Tennessee continues to roll the SEC network. Back to you, Sean, Greg, and Molly. All right, Kevin, so great to have college football fully underway. What is known as week one. There was some action in week 0 last weekend. Most of college football begins.
So Carson Beck pulls back, play action, will dump it off to Nate Frazier, his first reception of the season, I believe. He's got that explosiveness and gets down towards the 50, just on Georgia's 49, a big first down play.
Frazier after a gain of 24. And most of this game has been number 0, Barrett Carter, and Wade Woodaz at linebacker. Well, Kobe McLeod comes in to give Woodaz a little bit of a break, and he busts on the first snap. Does not find Frazier in man coverage out of the backfield, and it results in a huge play to start the drive for Georgia.
So good start from UGA here as Nate Frazier now
189 and the touchdown.
46 total yards in his debut. He gets the fake toss back over the middle, actually a throw to the outside, and it was easily broken up. Delp is looking for a penalty. There is none. Would love to see a replay here because I'm not sure what
Last year, he's from Athens.
Beck was thinking.
Against his hometown university today in a game that means a lot to
He just had a one-on-one to Delp, and perhaps
Hart has such great instincts. That's a tough
Delp and Beck thought he had the advantage as Bell is now limping off the field.
and a lot of weight as well as Dylan Bell.
So Dylan Bell looks badly hurt as he needs 2 trainers to help him off.
5:41 to go, third.
Beck scanning the field now. He'll throw it short to Frazier, who drops it.
Forward pass, an incomplete pass.
It'll be an incomplete pass. Not a good showing from the freshman.
Interesting that without Trevor Etienne today serving the suspension, the primary running back has become Nate Frazier. Freshman in his
So Georgia 3rd and 10 after a explosive start to the drive. They'll need more. Cash Jones in. Bunch to Beck's right. Beck scanning. He'll go towards that bunch. Caught in the middle of the field. Turning it upfield. And for a big first down and more is Humphreys, the transfer from Vanderbilt, with a big old play. Big, about 25 yards in Clemson territory. And a big old Georgia first down. They'll be within Clemson's 30. Beck scanning again, looking deep. Now he'll take off. He'll scramble for the first down inside the red zone. And Georgia is driving the offense. Looks like it is fully back after a quiet first quarter. So now Beck over 200 yards passing, over 220 total yards, over 230 total yards. After that scramble, he'll hand the ball off. Frazier breaks a tackle, breaks another one, however, loses the ball, has to fall on it. That'll be about a 5-yard gain after he does so. As we're under 5 minutes here left in the third. Looking around the league, Navy up big over Bucknell. They've started to kick it into high gear. Purdue big over Indiana State. They have done so as well. Of course, just mentioned that Kent State-Pittsburgh game. West Virginia has gone into a delay with Penn State. Would assume weather there. Vanderbilt has the ball back after regaining a 10-point lead. Iowa has scored another touchdown, making it 19-0. And here, Carson Beck throws a quick bubble screen. It's open! Makes a man miss inside the 5. Fighting forward down at the 1. Georgia will have a 1-yard play to get up 7 more points if they can get it after Dominic Lovett gets the bubble screen, cuts up field, makes his corner miss, and gets within the 5, and we'll see what the 1-yard play is. Inside zone, Frazier cuts up the middle, in without being touched. Georgia up 19-3, likely to be 20-3 after Woodring puts it through. Frazier, his first collegiate touchdown. The true freshman not touched as he makes a cut back towards the middle on the inside zone. Carson Beck fired up, Frazier fired up, and of course, more than anyone, Kirby Smart fired up, and hey, I'm right there too. What a drive. Well led by Carson Beck, well called by Mike Bobo, especially that 3rd and 10 play after a couple failures on 1st and 2nd. Woodring, the snap, the hold, both good. The kick follows suit, and the Dogs lead 20-3. All right, I'm going to take a break. I'm fired up. We'll be back after the commercial break. Actually looks like we're not going to be getting any commercial break, so we'll stay right here. I need a break after all that talking, but looks like we're staying with the game for the first time in a while. So the Dogs up big now. Just looking like they need to hold on. However, I'm sure they'll keep the pedal to the metal. 3 minutes and 15 seconds left in the third. Kick is away. The kickoff, I should say, as it will sail through the back of the end zone. And Clemson will start on their own 25.
Visible discomfort when he jogged, and I can tell he's in pain. He was talking to teammates about that Maffa block, and that's what happened and hurt his left ankle. But I'm told he's going to try to play, but they'll monitor it closely.
So it Sounds like the report on Michael Williams is that he's going to give it a shot, but he is hurting. He is not on the field for the first play of this drive. The junior from Columbus, Georgia, could end up being the #1 overall pick in the NFL draft if he stays healthy and has a good season. But instead, he'll be a little less healthy here and sit out. Clemson starts this drive with an inside zone. It's effective on the RPO, as it will be a 9-yard gain.
He's coming off a 4-rushing touchdown effort in their wild come-from-behind win in the Gator Bowl against Kentucky. 38-35.
Clemson with a 2nd and 1. Maffa will get the ball yet again. This time much less success as he's dragged down at the line of scrimmage by Walker.
The hybrid linebacker. He's a guy you're going to hear an awful lot of this year. They are so impressed with how much he's grown this offseason. He's become better off the ball playing traditional linebacker, but he's always been a force on the edge.
So 20-3 Georgia leads. This is truly a do or die drive for Clemson. 3rd and 1. It would be interesting to see if they were stopped here what their game plan would be. Cade Klubnik has to keep it, and he is dragged down in the backfield. Looked like the original plan was to hand it off to Maffa, but instant pressure. Maffa went down. Klubnik keeps it, and he can't get back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be about 4 and 4 feet, 1.5 yards or so. Again, Walker able to blow it up. He wasn't the original one that brought Maffa down, but he gets Klubnik down, and it will be the punt unit for Clemson.
Especially given how Georgia's played offensively the last couple of possessions. You're down 3 scores.
We'll see about a fake punt here. I am assuming Georgia has to think a little bit of the same. It is not. The punt is away. And it will be fair caught at the 31. And now I will take a little bit of a break. As we go to commercial, feel free to leave your comments in the chat. I'll be back shortly. All right, again, it looks like we're not going away. So again, we'll stick here. I guess the next scheduled break is the end of the 3rd. So I'm getting, it's getting better. I thought the breaks were way too many, but now we haven't gotten one in a while, so much better. 2 drives this half, 2 touchdowns. Beck scanning the field. He's looking deep. He'll take the check down. It will go off Frazier's hands and fall incomplete.
We talked about the helmet and the coach-to-player communication, Greg, and talking to Mike Bobo and Kirby Smart last night, they said, we really don't...
Interesting to see a second drop from Frazier.
Mike Bobo said he processes information better than any quarterback that I've ever coached. And we asked Carson Beck about it. He said, I basically just want them to give me the play. Give me the play and turn the microphone on. Yes, please. Especially, just give me the play if I make a mistake. I really don't want to hear about that immediately after.
So, 2nd and 10 after the incompletion. It'll be a handoff to Frazier. That one goes nowhere, and it will be a 3rd and 10.
We might go for it on 4th down here. So you have 2 plays. Nate Frazier, the ball carrier. Interesting talking to Garrett Riley on the other side, too. He said, I think a lot of coaches will misuse it. The temptation will be to give the quarterback too much information, and now you're overwhelming him and causing confusion, perhaps.
So 3rd and 11, they mark it. Looks like Clemson was bringing pressure. We'll see if they check off of it now or keep it. Looked like Clemson was bringing 7. They switched the way their D-line was formatted. 6 people on the line. They'll end up only bringing 5. Beck's able to find someone, but it goes off the hands. And that is the 3 and out that Clemson certainly needed. So Georgia actually goes backwards. Their first 2 drives, they got every yard they could get. Started on their own 25 both times and ended up going 75 yards. This time they actually go a yard backwards. However, with Thorson here, you know he can always change the field. Flip it right on its head. He'll try to do so here. Here he does so within driving Clemson within their own 20. Fair caught at the 15.
Bombs one there with a well-rested leg. He has a great sense of humor on social media. When Carson Beck announced he was coming back, Thorson tweeted, "Ugh, now I'm going to get even less playing time." 56-yard punt. Yes, the funny guys from Australia. Good stuff.
So 2 seconds left in the third quarter.
Because if he's going on because we failed, it's not usually a super friendly relationship, so it's understandable. But and when he does punt, it's never returned. Ever. He went all last year without allowing a punt return on his 32 punts. Part of that's he hits it high. The other part of it is they have Arian Smith and Dom Lovett as the gunners running down there. Great speed.
Here, bubble screen for Clemson. It will pick up a couple, and that will end the quarter. So I am going to take a little bit of a break here for sure. We'll be back in about 3-4 minutes for fourth quarter action. Leave your comments in the chat while I'm gone, and I'll answer them.
to Tyler Brown. First play of the
All right, we are back.
tempo here. That was a
Clemson going up tempo. First play of the first quarter. They picked up 9 yards to make it 3rd and 1. Clemson 0 touchdowns in last 28 drives versus Georgia. That stems all the way back to 2014. That's insane. What's up, Luke? At the game? At the game, hopping in the chat. That's awesome. As Clemson will pick up the first down.
If you are Clemson here, would you consider picking up the tempo, getting up to the, here they come. They have Brian
Picking up the tempo is Clemson.
Field right at the middle of your screen at the bottom, number 12, one of the most highly recruited
As actually after that,
high school, true freshman.
looks like they will stop the tempo. Someone called a timeout. No indication what. Injury timeout. Looks like Nasir Stackhouse is down for Georgia. Can tell by the just absolute mass of a man. So, this is what I was saying earlier. Back to an immediate media timeout. Louisville up 59-0 over Austin Peay, who, again, I received letters from in high school. Georgia, Clemson, of course, that's our game. Purdue, Indiana State, Purdue up 42-0. Kent State still hanging in with Pittsburgh. That's quite amazing. West Virginia and Penn State still in a delay, apparently. Maryland over UConn. Vanderbilt slowly losing their lead on Virginia Tech. However, they like the spot they're in, I'm sure, considering they weren't even expected to win the game. Iowa over Illinois State big time now, 26-0, and of course Tennessee absolutely destroying. Oklahoma State up 10-0 over South Dakota State. Cincinnati up over Towson, and that is the full list of the games as they are right now. So, fun, as we're in the middle of an ad break. Clemson was driving, and of course Stackhouse went down with injury. So, waiting to see more from this Georgia defense and see anything from this Clemson offense. Want to thank everyone for watching. Appreciate everyone that's tuned in. It's been an interesting game so far. 6-0 at halftime. Georgia has started to pile it on. Good looking game from them now. As we're finally back to game, Cade Klubnik receives the snap. He rolls out. He is brought down. He got the throw off, but I don't think he did. Refs will agree with me. That is going to be about a 12-yard sack as he tried to roll out. And guess who? It's Walker again. Wow, oh wow. Walker is having himself a game.
Walker was coming around the side. Let's see. still in the hand. Left knee down and a good call by the official. First Georgia sack. It goes
So first Georgia sack.
from Salisbury, North Carolina.
Walker has had himself a game. 2nd and 22. Klubnik scanning the field. Out route. He overthrows it. Can't be brought in. And it will be a 3rd and 22. And this will be interesting to see what Clemson does. Do they just try and get 10 and make it a 4th and somewhat manageable? I think if they don't get at least 15 yards here, they're going to have to punt.
The other, along with Wesco, highly touted incoming freshman wide receiver. Where's number 1? He's to the top of the screen on 3rd down and 22.
Clemson trying to figure out what play they're going to call. 2 seconds. 1. They get the snap off. Cade Klubnik has nothing and is sacked. Wow. It looked like just a broken play, and it will be 4th and about 25. And they will bring on the punt team.
First down sack that Cade Klubnik took, you just can't do it. And that's something he's worked hard on all season, eliminating the negative plays. Look, you're rolling to your left. You have no chance. You know they're breathing fire coming at you. You got to get rid of the ball quicker. You just can't take that sack. So, obviously, complete drive killer.
So,
Clemson's forced to punt again.
Clemson just with a bad drive. And the thing is, they're driven backwards to where Georgia might come after this punt. And even if they don't, which they don't, they're going to have a very good field positioning. This was the best punt of the night for Clemson. However, a good return, cutting it up the middle. They'll get down to about the 45, their own 45. And that is excellent field position in a game you're already winning.
Here's our Sonic drive-in recap. It's been an excellent second half offensively for Georgia. Starting with some misdirection. They start a little fake inside, get dealt out in the flat, and Arian Smith up the wheel, and you got it. A couple plays later, you find Colby Young in a one-on-one situation.
So getting a recap on our game so far.
You have a guy underneath, and then in comes Humphreys, the transfer from Vanderbilt, who's been quiet today, and he finds a nice conversion. Frazier pays it off a couple plays later.
All right, Georgia 5 wide.
From the Georgia offense.
Beck, a little dump off.
Pass from Beck.
Doesn't really work out. It'll only be 2 yards.
Well, Mike Bobo said they'd make an effort to get Smith involved, and they clearly have. He said they know when the other team sees number 11 on the field, they're concerned because everybody's well aware
I
of
have
his speed. Yeah, he's
Beck's over passing yards, and he's going to need 35 of those, boys, to
he can
get that.
at any point. I mean, he can run right past you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it unless you give him a ton of respect and a bunch of push-ups. Branson Robinson in it running.
Well, here's a chance. Beck scanning, gets at least 10, as that will be a first down to Arian Smith.
Again, with Jaden Lucas in coverage for Clemson, an 11-yard gain.
11-yard gain on the deep curl.
Run right past you, so you know you have to give it a ton of
As soon as the corner flipped his hips, Smith came right back to the ball
slams on the brain.
for a first down.
Right back down his stem, creating separation from the defender. It's perfectly thrown by Carson Beck with great time and anticipation, and it's really uncoverable when you have that kind of speed.
We'll see what Georgia calls here. They've gone to 2 straight passes on this drive when they've had good field position.
Cleared by Cedric Van
Here, this will be a run to Branson Robinson. He looks to bounce it outside, but finds no success. Maybe picks up 2 yards.
You know, last year I was the new starter. Cedric Van Pram was very experienced. He helped me a lot. So I realized this year, with my experience, I might have to help our new center, Jared Wilson. And Wilson's acquitted himself nicely today. Yeah, he really has. I mean, Kirby raved about his athleticism and the fact that he's always been a great player. The problem is he could really only play center at a high level, and he happened to have an All-American in front of him. So it's not like he hasn't played because he isn't good. He just had great players in front of him. Not that dissimilar to Carson Beck. And Pran, drafted by Buffalo in the 5th round, last draft.
Beck scanning the field, throwing over the middle, incomplete, as Lovett couldn't bring it in.
Intended for
So it will be a 3rd and 9. Oh, that was actually Colby Young.
for Clemson.
Those numbers easy to mix up.
Listen, Beck, I admire his honesty. Talking to Molly McGrath, a lot of Heisman Trophy candidates. I'm not really thinking about that. He admitted it's one of his goals, one of his reasons for coming back.
So 3rd and 9. After getting good field position, you need to do something with this. I wonder if they just hand it off. If they can get 4 yards, can make an interesting field goal. They don't. Instead, they throw, cutting up field, green grass in front of them for the pylon. Touchdown, Georgia! Big play, London Humphreys, the transfer from Vanderbilt, gets his first touchdown as a Bulldog, and they are up 26-3. 40-yard touchdown on a simple in-drag. Wow, the first time one of those simple short dump-offs has gone for a touchdown.
Big play again from Georgia, showcasing that athletic ability that they have a wide receiver. Well, they don't go into the portal much because they recruit so well, but they did bring in 11 players.
And after the extra point, it is 27-3. So we're going to take a commercial break. I'm going to take a break as well. We'll be back shortly. Alright, back are we with the game as the kickoff after the Georgia touchdown has just occurred. This one, of course, into the end zone yet again. And Clemson, it is now do or die. No touchdown, no chance of winning, as Virginia Tech has tied up the game versus Vanderbilt. So they're tied at 20.
Before that, coming up in less than an hour here on ABC, we've got a great matchup in the swamp. Cam Ward making his Miami University debut for the Canes, taking on the Gators. All right, Kevin, thank you.
All right, Clemson, 10 minutes left in the game. They've got to do something. Klubnik throwing, caught at the 42, out of bounds. And that is a good gain to start this drive out. Michael Williams now officially out of the game.
He was favoring that left leg when he walked back to the locker room. He's not on their sideline right now, I'm told. He's out for now.
Clemson, another snap. Klubnik scanning again. This one a deep shot. Georgia! Malachi Starks! What a grab, Malachi! The best safety in the country says, hey, I'll have that. As Cade Klubnik, his first turnover of the season, shuts the door on any Tigers' chance to win this game. I'm going to say it. I don't care. I don't care about jinxing. Malachi Starks in man coverage said, I'll have that. In this world, he is the best safety. And the next, he might be the best wide receiver. What a grab. Excellent job by Malachi. Clemson had a step, but instead, he'll put on the turnover gear. In Georgia, now all they have to do is run the ball and drain this game. And hey, with Mike Bobo, there'll be some screens thrown in. Plenty of other things. This one a toss to Nate Frazier. Frazier breaks a tackle. He could go all the way if he could split the safeties. Bounces to the outside. Needs to beat one more man and gets taken down. Made 4 men miss on his way to the Clemson 37-yard line. Whoo-wee! 2 amazing plays back-to-back. First, the toss to the left. Frazier says, I'll explode through this gap and head all the way back to the right as he crosses midfield and gets eventually tackled by the knees on the 37-yard line. Whew, what a play and what back-to-back plays. Now Carson back under center. There'll be a timeout, and it will likely be on the Georgia side, I assume, with clock ticking down. It is Georgia's first timeout of the game. So I'm going to get a little bit of a breather as we're going to head to break. I'll be right back. What a series of plays. right, we are back. Georgia football driving this game all but over. Georgia just needs to milk the rest of the clock. They'll start with Nate Frazier, making men miss again. He's past the 10-yard marker. He'll get about a 17-yard gain on 1st and 10 before he's dragged down.
Just been such an impressive showing here in the second half from this Georgia offense. In the first half, really not a ton of rhythm. Average about 5.3 yards a play. Here in the second half, up to 10.6. Just crazy efficient. You see just the athleticism that they have at the skill positions, including running back. The true freshman already making an impact here.
Well, we talked about replacing the top 2 running backs. Dejon Edwards, Kendall Milton, both went to NFL training camps this year. I think I've seen enough of Frazier to believe
Frazier bounces this one outside but loses his footing.
he has more, physical talent.
And we'll only pick up 1 there. No one even touched him, just lost his footing.
Very good college players, don't get me wrong.
Great players.
But, this guy looks like he has star potential.
No doubt. I mean, this guy has just got a different level of juice. I mean, you see him, and when he moves, he's moving faster or quicker than just about everybody else.
Too fast for his own good
Yes,
there.
the turf monster did get him there. The old 20-yard line. It's always that one's always a little higher than the rest, but you can tell he just has that big play potential that he just didn't have at running back last year.
And if he stayed on his feet, those numbers were going to be up significantly because he had some running room.
So, Georgia's 2nd and 9. We'll see.
Down goes Frazier. It took a long time to put that cliche in.
It'll be a handoff to Branson Robinson. He'll fight his way forward for about 5 more.
Down to the 15, and now some tempers flaring. We mentioned the
And
40
Georgia
regular
just
season wins, which is
chipping away here at the end of this one.
23 straight wins against non-conference opponents, including the postseason. They haven't lost to a non-conference foe since January 1st, 2019, to Texas in the Sugar Bowl.
Looking around the league, Iowa has essentially shut the door on Illinois State. We'll scroll up as some games have probably ended. Actually, only just Purdue winning. Louisville up 62-0 on Austin Peay. Cash Jones will pick up the first down, and he will reach for the pylon, and they will rule it a touchdown. He was certainly out of bounds. So that one will likely come back. But Georgia, for right now, has added 6 more points on the back of Cash Jones. Around the league, 20-6. West Virginia still in a delay. I mean, who really cares? Georgia's the best. That's all that matters at the end of the day. Oh my gosh, he did stay in bounds, did Cash Jones. Wow, what a job tight roping the sideline. It will be 33-3.
But from the down the line one that we saw, it was inbound. There was a little green in between.
That progressive pylon cam was awesome right there. That's a great look.
Do you want to say it again? Just to give
Progressive
more
pylon.
progressive.
I like that. Progressive pylon.
We love our sponsors. Can't do enough for them.
And after the extra point, it is 34-3. And for the stream, that's going to do it. It's been a 3-hour stream, so therefore I'm going to call it Georgia's up 34-3. If you want to watch the rest of the game, I'm sure you have ways to do so. Thank you all so much for joining. This will be it from Peach State Sports today. I appreciate you all so much. I'll see you next time. Adios.
Outreach.